morning, good morning, good morning. This is Kathleen, your conscious coach. I just want to jump on here this morning and talk to you guys a little bit about the legacy workbook. And I really wanted to talk to us. I saw on DL Hughley, let me see, I'm Kathleen Herrick, your conscious coach. Also, I'm chosen, I'm an educator, I'm an author, speaker, and writer. I'm the author of the Conscious Collection. It's a set of books that I have designed or created specifically for the African American community. So, yeah, to bless us. Writing is a little weird. So I'll be kind of talking a little bit about that this morning. But my main focus this morning, I did see a question that was posed about how can we get African American men to be mentors to young black boys. I'm a little afraid, a little nervous, a little concerned about how we have turned our lifestyle choices in terms of how we care for one another, how we turn that into a thing where we are kind of behaving or acting as if this is something or a problem or issue that we cannot solve. And so we've adopted this nature of practicing what I call white supremacy solutions, which is basically it's basically a model of chasing your pain instead of actually coming up with solutions. You come up with solutions when you understand what the problem is. So if I say to you that, say you smoke, and I say to you, you need to stop smoking. Well, the person knows they need to stop smoking. Is the issue that they smoke, or could the issue be why they smoke, why they develop the habit, and how you get them to break that habit by breaking the association that they have with smoking. So does smoking make them feel less nervous? Then you need to work on finding out what triggers your nervous condition or your anxiety. We live in a society where they have presented us with false solutions. When you operate from a place of false solutions, then you never see yourself elevate or get rid of those things that are damaging to you. So in the black community, we have adopted these white racist solutions. And so let me get started on actually what I want to say so I don't run everything together. So basically, I'm focused on us finding our own way. This week, as I posted, last week I posted, Where is the Black Family? This week I posted about us finding our own way. When it comes to us finding our own way, I just had that up for somewhere. Okay, we need to find our own way. We need to find our own way. And I'll be referring to, later on, I'll be referring to the Legacy Workbook. If you haven't seen the Legacy Workbook, I'll show you what it looks like. It says Restoration of the Black Family. The Legacy Workbook is available on Amazon. This book is really important because it speaks to what I'm about to kind of explain here a little bit. And whether you get the book or not, still, watch this because I think this is going to be illuminating for all of us. So basically, we need to find our own way. How do we reduce our dependency on white racist solutions? A lot of the things that America has to offer us in terms of solutions are not really solutions. Sometimes they can be helpful. Sometimes services are needed, and I completely understand that. But if we keep following this model, we're never going to heal. We're never going to come to a place of elevation, and we're never going to establish ourselves in the earth as the people that even God desires for us to be. So, in finding our own way, we can look at things like welfare. How does welfare assist us? Now, if you are on welfare because you lost a job or, unforeseen circumstances, this is your beginning, so to say, that's okay. If you are on the system as a form of dependency, meaning without Section 8, I could not pay my rent. If you're in that situation for a year or two or even 4 or 5 because you decided to go to school and get your degree, that's one thing. But if we have a mindset where we actually function at a level where we have in the back of our minds that we know we can go to these systems and they're going to solve our problem, well, then that's a problem. Because white racist solutions do not solve our problems. They don't. What they really do is they enable us. They really put us in a situation where we don't think beyond what we receive, and that becomes an issue because certain behaviors, believe it or not, certain behaviors you would not engage in if you knew that there was not going to be a solution in terms of welfare assistance and things like that. So we would be looking more at survival in another way, actually. So if I knew that if I had a baby, my parents were not going to help me, society was not going to help me, I would think differently about my behavior because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I am suffering in pain and I don't have the things that I need or that my child will need. And so, as we're beginning to try to find our own way, we have to look at how can we evolve and elevate to the mindset to where we're taking control of the narrative of our life. And if we don't kind of force ourselves that way because we're used to these constructs, right? We're used to assistance, we're used to help, we're used to somehow finding the resources that we need to make it. And so, in order for us to release ourselves from that dependency, we kind of have to go into a mode of being disciplined to think about our behaviors and the repercussions of our behaviors. That's the only way we're going to reduce our dependency on white racist solutions. White racist solutions say, in order for you not to have a baby, get on birth control. But they never teach you how to establish family values, how to establish expectations, how to actually build up your mind to believe and know that you can achieve success. And so it's kind of a system that never really works. It works to serve the purpose that it was intended to serve, to always make black people the less the less dominant, to make black people inferior, to make black people always have to come to the master to ask for something, right? We always got to go back to them for some reason and ask for something. And so we want to find our own way. And your own way can look like a lot of different things. It can look like entrepreneurship. It can look like maybe being on assistance until you finish school. It can look like starting to sell, um, paparazzi jewelry or whatever you got to do to create some type of income so that you can get to the place that you desire to get. But we need to find our own way. And we need to break ourselves from this dependency that we have on white racist solutions. And so um, let's look at some of the factors that we can look at. What are the factors that contribute to our demise? Like, what are the things we can identify as dysfunctional, toxic obstacles or unproductive? So at this point, as we're coming into our conscious space and our conscious mind in terms of where we are as the black family, where we are as a race, where we are as a people, as we're coming into this space and this knowledge and this conscious mind, we also need to be securely able to point out the places where our pain is, right? So when we look at black pain, we're actually looking at the things that hurt us, one of the things that hurts us is having sex when we're not prepared to have a baby. And a lot of people say, oh, you guys, you always want to talk about sex. Sex is always at the top of the list, and people always want to condemn people for doing what they want, doing what they're gonna do, and you can't stop people from doing what they want to do and all that kind of stuff. I'm not interested in that. Don't know why you want to hold on to that, but I think it goes back to us not actually having that moment where we sit down and we actually talk about the things that do contribute to our demise. It's kind of like if if your leg is hurting. If your leg is hurting because every morning you get up and you bump this corner of the dresser, and so you've got this nasty, you get this little nasty bruise right here on your leg because you keep bumping the corner of the dresser when you get up in the morning to exit the room. So if you get up in the morning and you bump your leg and you get a nasty little bruise, do you not then pay attention to how you move in the room so you don't re-injure yourself? Do you not move the dresser? Do you not cushion the dresser? Like, in other words, you're going to try to find some type of solution so you don't end up hurting yourself. In the Black community, we have gone for 40 whole years without fathers in the home. And we know that this hurts us. Like, we know that this hurts us. But we're not really looking for solutions. We know that there's a direct correlation between fatherless homes and gang membership. We know that there's a direct correlation between fatherless homes and the poverty level or being lower income. We know that there's a propensity for more child sexual abuse or just child abuse, period, when there is not a two-parent loving relationship model home. So we know all of these things. You're more likely to what? Repeat the cycle if you are not cognizant and consciously aware of this cycle. Now, the cycle was created by white supremacy. Let's not, tort that or try to smooth that over. It was created by white supremacy. All of these systems were built by white supremacy. It's in implicit and explicit bias. It's structural racism, which means it's a system put in place to always make you be the person at the bottom, right? They're always at the top offering you all of these solutions, and you're always at the bottom ready to receive those solutions. And so it continues to put us in a place where we don't experience success at the level that we should experience success. So we have to identify where we are coming under fire. And when I make a comment about us examining these true factors, like having a baby when you're not ready to have a baby, that one thing alone offers them as a dominant race in terms of structural racism. That one action alone is money in their pocket. The greatest resource in terms of replicating income is going to be Black Americans who do not realize that every time your behavior is dysfunctional and every time you fall into a situation where you're dependent on white racist solutions, you basically redevelop, reestablish, and recycle poverty and pain. Because like I just said, the numbers always tell the story, right? And so, like I said, when you see that direct correlation, if you have a child that you're not prepared for, that child is more likely to struggle in school. And you know why they're going to struggle in school? Because of the stress level that's at home. There's a need for food. There's a need for clothes. There's a need for electronic devices. We see that now with the pandemic, right? So whenever you create and continue to create this model where we ultimately keep falling into this funnel, then we contribute to our own demise. So we need to identify what those things are. So now, after we identify what those things are, we have to determine how long we're going to keep chasing black pain. So, how do we stop chasing black pain and return to the throne, or return to our rightful position, or return to who we can be versus what we have become? And we do have to place blame on structural racism. But as we place blame on structural racism, we also have to combine that with the tools that we need to pull ourselves out of the dependency on white racist solutions. And so you do that by reestablishing the family. There's no way around it. There's no ifs and buts about it. It's conclusive evidence that shows that there is a need for us to go back and reestablish the black family. Now, I can't really speak on this entirely. I've only read basically a synopsis or a overview of what this doctor does, Dr. Sierra Glover. I read as much information as I could. One of the things I want to show you right now, and please forgive me because I don't know how this feature works yet. So this is a new thing I'm trying. I tried it last night, but I didn't get a chance to go back and watch the video. So I don't know how this works, but I want you to just take a look at Dr. Sierra Glover. And as I tell you about her, if you can't hear me, hopefully you'll try to read at least the first page and the first paragraph to see what she specializes in. Okay, so give me a minute, and I'm gonna set it up so I can share my screen with you guys. So let me pull this out. There we go. I'm pretty tech savvy, so oh, I'm pretty tech savvy, so this should go okay. This should go okay. That's the best I can give you. I'm gonna close that out because that's not giving me anything that I really want you guys to see. I'll close that out too. Okay, and so then I'll share this screen with you guys. So basically, entire screen. Okay, there we go. So basically, we have here Dr. Sierra Glovers, and hopefully you guys can see this. It says she is a PhD, University of Michigan, 2007. That's her education. Specializations examining the roles of identity and parenting on diminished risk for communities of color, with particular emphasis on academic and psychosocial outcomes for African American youth. Um, so what she did was, and like I said, I'm not going to do her any justice in terms of relating, all this information about her and things like that. Like I'm not. Let me see. Let me see if I got the publication up here. Okay, so that's not it. Let me go back here, and that's gonna take me somewhere else. Doo-doo, and doo-doo. Okay, all right. And so anyway, you see who I'm talking about at least is Dr. Sierra Smalls Glover, and Urban Drivers of Resilient Youth. You see that at the top. So anyway, I'm gonna close this out. So anyway, what she did was she did a study. I don't know if I closed that out or if I closed that out. Let me see. Okay. So yeah, so she did a study. One of the important factors of her study was she talked about how the family serves as a important role in sending messaging to youth. That piece right there. Now, guys, I promise I'm not doing her any justice whatsoever. However, I do want to point out that that everything that she did in that article, that everything, and she has tons of articles, tons of studies. This is what she does. This is a specialization. So you would have to go back and read everything that she's done. She's done some incredible work. Everything I read was just phenomenal. I mean, I can't even do her justice. There's no way I can do her justice on this. But like I said, one of the things she pointed out was the importance of the contribution that the family makes in terms of messaging when it comes to our youth, and helping them with psychosocial and academic success. So, how do we stop chasing black pain and return to the throne? Well, in order to do that, we have to really establish the black family. The black family unit, the father, the mother in the home together in a healthy relationship, is the number one contribution to our children's success. And I know we live in a society right now where over 70% of AA homes, African American homes, are absent fathers. So that's what we know, right? That's not any new information. This is what we know. Remember, we just went over identifying things that help contribute to the demise of the black family, or our black success, or however you want to term it. So, with identifying that, how do we stop chasing black pain um, and return to the throne? Now, a lot of people, the first thing they want to say is, "Let's do a study," right? Well, I just mentioned Dr. Sierra. She's done. My eyes are watering. Science. This is so early. I just mentioned Dr. Sierra. She's done plenty of studies. So people say, studies, 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 do studies. No, let's not do any more studies. Let me give y'all a little wake up tambourine beat. Let's not do any more studies, okay? Wake up, wake up, wake up. Let's not do any more studies. No, we still need studies. But what I'm saying is that you have to put in place an action of what you are going to do. That is why I created the Legacy Workbook. When we're talking about releasing ourselves from the bondage of white racist solutions, we have to have our own solutions. We have to have, remember I said finding our own way? We have to come up with our own ways to find our way back to black success, black family establishment, black values, and all the things that can contribute to our success. At the core of that is going to be the black family. There's just no way around it, which is a good thing because that's what we need. So when you look at the legacy workbook, and in terms of what the legacy workbook offers, a lot of people, oh, she's just trying to sell a book. No, I'm trying to sell you a future, because right now we don't have one. Because right now, our children are getting shot and killed dead in the street because we don't understand the value of having a support system in the black family. We don't understand how that alone can separate us from being, uh, from chasing pain to establishing ourselves as a successful model. And because we don't understand that, uh, we think, like I said, all these white-based solutions, white racist-based solutions are going to help us, and they're not. And there's no other way for me to say that. They simply are not going to help us. So one of the solutions, I believe is the legacy workbook. And I'll just make these comments and then I'll let you guys go. Let's see here. I don't know why this is doing this. So it's like, when are we going to get tired of chasing the white racist model of chasing our pain, when we can stop the bleeding? For over 40 years, we have seen a pattern of fatherless homes or single parent homes. And now they're saying, let's get programs where we can have mentors. Let's get programs so we can teach you how to have pride and teach you affirmations and do all of this. Guys, yes, things like that work, and I guess we need to have those in place. But really, what we need is fathers. The father of the child needs to be in the child's life. Not only that, but we have to look at mass incarceration. We have to look at how long-term sentencing affects Black families, and disproportionate sentencing. Because they love to give Black guys 20 years in prison, even for whatever they do, a drug charge or whatever. They want to give them 20 years. We have to look at all of that. But when you look at all of that, it's still going to come back to establishing the family. That's going to be the cornerstone of all of this. So when we see this pattern of fatherless homes and single parent homes, it's not all of our fault. Systemic racism dealt us a heavy hand of dysfunctional patterns. But only we, the Black race, can solve our internal issues as a race of people. So let's begin the journey back to the home. The first relationship the child should experience is the family relationship. And I'll add, just because you all share a space, that does not mean you are forming a meaningful relationship. I add to that, Dr. Sierra Glover is a published, established, credible researcher and associate professor who specializes in examining roles of identity and parenting on diminished risk of communities of colors, with particular emphasis on academic and psychosocial outcomes for African American youth. So that you can look that all up on Resy, resy.gsu.edu/profile/Sierra score small score Glover /. Trust me when I say there is far too much information to share on this post to do her any justice, but I do love that she mentions how important the family is in our children's development. Please Google search her and her work, and I agree with her, and I appreciate her focus on our race. My book is just a starter to healthy communication, loyalty, trust, commitment, stability, self identity, consistency, love, which are all traits that begin in the home, but they must be taught through purposeful activities. So in this book, I give you purposeful activities that are designed specifically to help us center around the core of what it means to be a Black family. Guys, that's not the same. Just because you share a house with your kids and your kids know your mom and your kids know that they're your kids, that's not the same as establishing a relationship. That's not the same as establishing expectations. That's not the same as creating bonds. Yes, you're creating bonds. You love each other, you're feeding one another. It creates a dynamic, but we can go a little deeper, and we can elevate, and we can make those bonds closer, and we can establish our family in such a way that we can have shared proven unity, which would then lend to or contribute to the academic and psychosocial success of our children. So getting back to getting back to what I was saying, let me go back and pick that up. So, my book, like I said, is just a starting point. In the book, I give you activities to do. There's only 7 chapters. This book is only 40 pages long, but I give you activities to do as a family. And I'm not going to get into everything that's in the book because that'll take me all day. And so, in other words, if your child was asked, who are they? You can insert your last name. So my last name is Harris. So who are the Harris? Who are the Johnsons? Who are the Phillips? Who are the Turners? Who are the Omways? Who are the Yokuts? Who are the Harveys? Who are the Sheltons? Who are whatever your last name is? What would be their answer? Right? Because you may know who you are as an individual, you may know who you are as a person, but who are you as a family, and how can your child speak to that in your absence? When they're sitting in that classroom and the teacher does not look like them and she's feeding them information, and I love teachers, don't get me wrong, this is not what this is about, but the teacher is feeding them information, and some of that information doesn't identify with who your child is. How is your child able to reject that thought or refute it or debunk whatever information is put out there if they don't know who they are, if they don't know what their name means, if they don't know what it means to be black. By our own identity, finding our own way, not what we've been taught under white oppression or suppression, but what we've learned because we found our own way. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference. It's something that we don't pay attention to, but it's something that we need to pay attention to because they get ate up when they go out here into the real world, when they go into school, when they go to college, because we haven't taken the time to establish them with our own true black identity and family identity. So if your child doesn't know who they are, how can they manage in a world that hates them and learn to appreciate those who do support them? So remember in the book, I talk about consistency and loyalty and love and all of this stuff. Those are things that have to be taught. Those are things where your family is bonded closer together, and the knitting is very tightly woven. Where when they step out of the house, they feel and they know who they are, and when they go out and hear messages that are contrary to what they've learned at home, they can still operate in confidence. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. So grab the legacy workbook. It was designed to form lasting bonds, to bring the family closer together, to establish family values and expectations, words we don't hear a lot about, clearly define and establish your legacy. It's fun, inviting, it's engaging, and it's thought provoking. We want to elevate. We want to develop our conscious mind. We just don't want to exist in America. We just don't want to exist as Black people. This is our turning point. This is our time. This is our shift. But if we keep looking for white racist people to give us a model and solutions, we are looking the wrong way. So all you have to do is get the book. You won't be the same after this book. I'm going to show you how to build a family covenant and also how to build your family crest. You'll create a covenant and you'll build a family crest. It's a generational curse breaker, or should I say a choice breaker, because we've learned to make some not so good choices. At the end of the day, like I said, it's our time. Now you can shop for this book online on my website at khconsciouscoach.org or .com /experts is where you can find the book. So I'll type that in here. It was up here. I don't know what happened to it. Conscious Coach. I have my glasses on. Coach.org /experts. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So that's the website. You can go there or you can inbox me or DM me. Hit the Cash App and you can Cash App me and I will mail your book out. Usually I have a copy here, but I mailed off all of my copies because they sold. And so you can order from Amazon though, but some people do order directly from me. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do. So it's so it's the Cash App is KV product. If you want to support this show, that's the Cash App. You can do it that way too. If you want to donate $5, $100, whatever you want to do. And then, like I said, the website, khconsciouscoach.org is where you can find the book. I'll show you a copy of the book one more time. It's the Legacy Workbook. There are other workbooks on the site. You can go and read about them as well. But I want us to get serious and be mindful of the fact that it is our time and it is okay for us to do better, to reach higher heights, to elevate and develop our conscious mind. Thank you for joining me this morning. I am your conscious coach, Kathleen. And you guys have yourself a awesome and wonderful day.